When you have essentially a state-mandated monopoly,
Yeah.
which is really what you have.
Right.
You have what are called, I forget the exact name, but they're restrictive market areas. So they actually have laws that says, let's say you're a Toyota dealer, and I say, you know what, I actually like Toyota a lot. I think I could be a dealer too. I'm going to open up a dealership a mile away from you.
Right.
That's illegal. It's illegal.
Right.
And what kind of? So no wonder you get excess profits because you're going to be the sole Toyota dealership in that area.
Yeah.
Now these car dealers, they make these claims like, well, if it's only Ford, there'd be less competition. This is totally, totally wrong. The last thing Ford wants to do is raise the cost of distribution. They have every interest of reducing the cost of distribution. They want to sell more cars. If they're going to have any market power, which they don't really have, they'll have it on the price of the car they sell the dealer. So we'd actually see lower prices for cars if we could go dealer direct.
Right. Well, I guess, and that's obviously the concern. I think the question is, from a consumer's perspective, is, well, how do I get support afterwards? With Tesla, the argument is, well, these cars really require so little technical support. We come in and we run a few fluid checks, and everything else we can do via the cloud. We just make whatever updates we want. As opposed to the current internal combustion engine model where you've got parts and warranties and things like that have to be periodically replaced and recalled and all that.
Well, look, first of all, I don't see why the government is making that decision for people. Well, let's just say Tesla decides they want to do that and that their service infrastructure is not very good. Let's just hypothesize that for a moment. I have no idea if it is or not. Eventually consumers realize, hey, this Tesla thing's not very good because if it breaks, I'm stuck. And they go buy a Volt or a Leaf or some other kind of electric car. So, I've only bought a new car once in my life, and that was about 10 years ago, and I've never taken it to the dealership. Never will. I take it to a local car repair place, and they do all the warranty work for it, et cetera, et cetera. There's no reason Ford or Toyota or whoever couldn't, in this case it's a Toyota, they couldn't send me information saying, hey, you've got to go get it fixed, and you get it fixed at an accredited car repair shop. So this notion that you have to go to the dealership for these things. The other thing about the dealership is dealership rates, as we all know. The reason I don't go to the dealership to fix my car is I actually want to have money to send my kid to college someday.
Yes, exactly. I know I had to have the starter replaced on a minivan that I own, and when I called the place I normally go, like you, I don't necessarily go to the franchise dealer for stuff like this. And he said, no, he says, for that you'll have to go to the dealership. And I thought, oh God, now I know what I'm going to have to pay through the nose for it. But
Right. And that's all going to the owner's yacht.
Yeah. So how do you? Are you getting? What are you hearing after this letter came out? I assumed you probably got responses back either on the internet or the media calling. Angry dealerships calling you. What kind of response did you get, or have you gotten to this point?
Well, it's very interesting you say that because I just got an email today from the organizer, and he had there was a reference in there to Brazil, and Brazil had a system where General Motors was actually able to sell direct. So there was a period there in Brazil where you could actually go online, you could configure your car. They would make it for you, and they deliver it for you.
Okay.
Now, I don't know the last time you bought a computer or not, but I bought a Dell computer, and you go online, you say, okay, I want this size hard drive, I want this much RAM.
Right.
Oh, give me this, I want a 4x DVD player, whatever it might be.
Right.
And they make it for you.
Right.
There's no reason, zero reason you couldn't have that level of customization for your car. They give you 25 colors to pick. Do you want a DVD player? Do you want leather? Do you not? There's no reason. You don't need to go to a dealership for that kind of thing. You can have it delivered right to your house. So, in any case, the ADA, the Auto Dealer Association, actually had sent a letter to the organizer of this saying you made a mistake on your statement, and therefore everything you're saying is factually wrong. And the mistake we made, or somebody made in there, was that Brazil has discontinued, GM has discontinued that in Brazil. Now, one of the main reasons they discontinued it is Brazil jacked up its value-added tax in local areas, made it so complicated,
Yeah.
shipped all the way across the country.
Right.
But you can tell it did get under the skin of ADA. They weren't happy, and they're trying to sort of cast aspersions on what we were saying.
Right, and I think their office is about 3 blocks from you.
It's pretty close.
It's pretty close.
I've actually run into ADA lobbyists here and there, and he keeps telling me he wants to come by and talk with me to set me straight.
Right, right. So this is going to, what you think, drag out for years now, or can we see maybe a bright light over the horizon or something?
I don't know that. That's a really good question. I don't know the answer to that. I think it'll be interesting in the presidential, assuming that Governor Christie throws his hat in, which everyone assumes he will. And the reason I say that is, Governor Christie supported this very, anti-consumer legislation.
Right.
It'd be very interesting if he's in the primary and he has to go to these debates and he gets asked about that, because a lot of the Republican primary voters are very libertarian. They want freedom, and they're going to say to the governor, "You sided with business interests over the consumer, over economic liberty. What are you doing there?" So it'll be interesting to see whether that has any backlash on the governor, and if it does, then I think it sends a message to other governors. Wait a minute, I got to be careful about this, particularly if I'm a Republican. So, see what happens.
Okay. Have you heard from Tesla? Or did they have any input in this, or?
No, I really haven't. It's funny, we did our report, and I was talking to a colleague of mine who actually had been in communication with Elon Musk. He said he was going to send Elon the report, but no, I haven't been in touch with Tesla.
Okay.
I have no idea what they think of this. So.
Okay, that's interesting. Well, because I guess somebody could make the charge. Well, they paid you under the rug to produce this thing for them. So.
No, they'd be nice. But,
yeah.
No, we did this just because it's something we believe in, and believers in it for 15 years. So.
Yeah. So I guess, and speaking of Tesla, I suppose that there would. Why, to get around this, I can't see this dragging on and on, because it really hurts her sales. And if they're trying to ramp up to do, 500,000 vehicles a year, which he said is his goal, they're not going to be able to do it under these circumstances. So I'm wondering what would just simply prevent him to going in and establishing his own franchise dealer network and have people that are committed, because I'm sure there are a lot of people that own Teslas. Obviously they have a fair amount of net worth, that would probably be very happy to set up something relatively simple and become a quote franchise, and suddenly he finds his way around that that obstacle.
So I can't speak for Tesla's business plans. My suspicion, though, first of all, Tesla can sell direct in most states. It's only a few where the dealers have been able to organize to prevent them. My suspicion is that I would think, what they would think would be if they went into a state and cut them that special deal and said, all right, we'll increase our overhead and have to raise prices, and we'll do the dealer thing. Then it opens the door for other states to renege and to start saying, well, hey, we've got Tesla dealerships, let's keep going. So at one level, they may want to stay, hang tough and just gut it out and see what they can get.
Right. Okay. Well, it's very interesting how this is all going to shake out at some point. So, and obviously the Luddite aspect of this, I think, is interesting. Who are you planning on for next year?
Well, by the way, just so you know, a lot of people have this perception that a Luddite is somebody who's sort of a little bit afraid of technology and doesn't like using their iPhone. And that's not really what a Luddite is. A Luddite is somebody who actively wants to stop technology.
They would take their wooden shoes and they would throw them in the spinning. Well, what were they? Looms, I think, weren't they, in central England?
Exactly, looms in the 1800s. So we both the good thing and really the bad thing. The good thing for us being able to write a report is that there's no end of Luddites in the U.S. and do their thing. It's bad, obviously, for the rest of us and for
Yeah.
all of us. So I don't know. I mean, it's not like we're picking them. We just follow the news, and as these come up over the course of 12 months, we take note of them, and we'll do it again at the end of 2015. And it'd be nice if each year we do it. We're having to scramble to get up to even 3 or 4. This year it was easy to get 10 because it was so much of it going on.
Right. Great. Well, Rob, thank you so much for taking the time and giving us a little bit of a sense of the background of this letter, and hopefully we'll get some kind of resolution in the not too distant future. I'll still be above the ground when it happens instead of below the ground and unconscious to what's going on in the world. So
that would be great on both. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Good. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Great. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.